Hey Taurus, how's it going? We're here with your reading, what you need to know for July. Alright, first card that we have out is Ten of Swords, but I am seeing the star on the bottom of the deck. What this means is that something is closing out. So during the month of July, you can feel like something is finally over, but because it's the Ten of Swords, it also means that there's gonna have to be like a period of mental adjustment to this as well. But this feels actually like it liberates you. You can feel like you can now turn into what you want to turn into, or that like the wait is over. It will feel like something is completing, and I feel more of a sense of connectedness with your path. Ten of Swords can be a challenge because it can be hard to put an end to something, or difficult to allow something to come to a close, or to mentally be like, okay, I'm done with this now. But at the same time, having the sun here feels like you're sort of like liberated to see yourself and to see your journey. And you could also feel now that you're free to express yourself in a way that you weren't able to express yourself before. The sun is a very happy card, so this can even feel like a sort of relief at this cycle being closed out. Now that's done with. Wow, I'm seeing you finish a big cycle here. This looks like something that could have really had you feeling very, very stuck within something, but I'm seeing you like pull away from that now. So whatever this was that you had been involved in, you could have felt like you were sort of, there could have been a feeling of being like energetically trapped within something. Could have been like a cycle, something along the lines of that. Having Eight of Wands is showing you moving away from whatever this is, but towards the world. Moving towards the world means that there's a completion now that's happening. So it means that this would have been something really difficult that you were moving through, because it could have been something that would be very, very easy to get caught up in, and you could have felt like you fully even got caught up in this. But now having Eight of Wands, it feels like pressing forward, and having the world here shows a completion. So whatever it was that you've been dealing with, having the world is like graduating from that cycle, and so you're not in the middle of that anymore. So this is definitely a sign of progress. It's definitely a sign of growth. You would see this as like you evolving as well. Now that this situation is closing out, I'm seeing Judgment below, which means taking a look at this. Even though it looks like something that's not happening anymore. So you were in a cycle, you're not in the cycle anymore, or you're like just closing out, you're like just at the end of this. Even though you're not in the middle of it anymore, having Judgment below here shows you sort of reviewing what you had gone through. I'm seeing Pluto and I'm seeing the sun connecting here. So this can be something where you feel like an aspect of your core really changed as you went through this process. And you could have also felt like you were done with something. Like you could have been in a cycle where you're trying to like pull something out of a situation, that you got to a point where you were like, I'm not going to find what I'm looking for like on this level. And it feels like spending time looking at that, like why was that happening? Like what are you actually looking for? Like those types of things. I'm seeing that be really a big key for you here. Having the sun be connected with Pluto Pluto is going to strip down whatever it's next to. It's going to break down whatever it's next to. Anything that's going on that is unnecessary, it's going to like pull that away. It's going to be a deep dive. And the sun is about your core. It's about your ego, your sense of self, what like separates you from everything else around you. So there's like a sense of discernment within that. It can also teach you better about like your preferences and things like that. So if you're doing anything that you feel like is not fully aligned with your path, like not fully aligned with your dharma, if you want to use that word, like naturally what you feel like aligns versus what doesn't. When it comes to your preferences, you don't so much have like a choice of what your actual preferences are, but you have the choice of whether you honor them or not, whether you recognize them or not. I'm seeing something that you had maybe been looking for. At one point in time, you could have been satisfied in a situation, whatever this was. Or maybe you were always felt like you were left seeking something that was never actually realized in the cycle. Whatever it is, I'm seeing you be like, well, I'm not going to be doing that anymore, because it feels like recognizing that you weren't going to get what you were looking for. Like you weren't going to find what you were looking for in that. So allowing it to come to a close so you can enter into a new cycle that's going to feel more reflective of what you're trying to connect with. Having judgment and having the sun connect with one another, it feels like there's a part of yourself that you're reconciling with here. And you can feel like this is really you're going to progress quickly because of this. Because before, if you had been feeling like not totally in touch with yourself, because Pluto is something that, like, it's going to see the truth and cut to the core. Pluto rules Scorpio. So you think of Scorpio and like the deep analysis and investigating, and you think about that when it has to do with your sense of self. So it's this type of thing that's going on here, where there's like a deep reflection of yourself and your purpose and what feels aligned and what needs to go, like those types of things, especially when it comes to what you're trying to connect with on an internal level. Like what it is that you really seek and what you will feel like connected with in a sense of fulfillment and alignment internally. Something it feels like was not fitting the bill any longer. So it's about allowing that to close and for you to continue moving forward. But I am seeing the devil here, which means just make sure that you're not going into another situation that's going to be like an empty promise or a false promise. Make sure that you're really like cutting through things to look at them. Because I'm seeing the devil in this case be something that it doesn't look like you're necessarily connected with, like in the middle of a connection with, but something that you could potentially go in the direction of. This looks like a past connection. You would already see this as being something that's like not the best thing for you. This could have also been what you were recently getting out of too. Devil and Six of Cups can be a situation where you already realize like this isn't healthy for me. This isn't the best thing for me. You could feel like it just is slapping a band-aid on a deeper issue, but not actually getting to the issue. But that's why you were sort of attracted to this situation, this person maybe in the first place. For some of you, this is a social thing. But it can be something that feels very unfulfilling and you feel like you're sort of chasing your tail through the cycle. So it's making sure that you're getting involved in things that are going to like give you back what you need. Like it's not just a never-ending chase that happens. This feels like there's some like psychological work that you're moving through. Psycho-emotional is what this is feeling like both of those aspects. I'm seeing something definitely. You can feel like you are getting an outcome that you wanted from this. I do feel too that with Saturn and Six of Pentacles, it feels like there may be like a difficult lesson that you learned about your values. Your values being like when you enter a situation, what you need in order to feel valued, in order to feel respected, you know, in order to feel like you're bringing something to the table but not being taken advantage of. It means like somebody else is bringing things to the table too, and there's like an eloquence, a balance between the two of those things, rather than feeling like you're giving to something that doesn't truly give back what you're looking for, what you need. For some of you, this is a work thing. There can also be people involved in this. It does not solely have to be that, but I'm seeing for some of you that have something to do with it. And it feels also too like connecting with people that you feel like support you and or better you and or are reliable, like those sorts of things that you need, rather than just something that's going to feel like a good time and then leave you feeling a sense of emptiness. Devil and Six of Pentacles can be like really trying to get something out of a situation, but feeling like it ends up always sort of gypping you. So whatever this was that was going on, it feels like there's a recognition of that. And some of you, this had to do with some people that you were around. Some of you could have even felt like you were being taken advantage of, actually. So yeah, it feels like putting something to an end, even if like initially you went into something and felt like it was something that you were connected with or something that you could connect with. It feels like getting to a point where you realized like it wasn't for you any longer, or you didn't really resonate with that at this point in time, regardless of whether you did or didn't in the past. Feels like that would have been why you would have gone into this situation in the first place, but then looked at that and felt like you needed to retire from this. I definitely get a vibe of you seeking. So there's going to be an ending in the month of July for you, like a final closing out. And there's also going to be like the beginning of a footwork journey that's associated with you seeking like what you are truly looking to connect with. I get like a deeper sense of self. I feel like you're doing, I don't know what exactly this is that you're doing, but it's something where you feel like you're getting to your essence and understanding that. So I'm seeing like a deep alignment with self, like a deep understanding of self. Like this is me and this is my mission, or this is my understanding of myself. This is what I'm seeking. There can even be like an acceptance of your situation, whatever that may be. Over in this part, which feels like it's giving more context to like what exactly it is that's closing out, it feels like you could have been trying to make something work in a situation where it wasn't going to work. And it looks like this is something that has to do with like some type of social setting potentially, and I'm getting it have to do with, this doesn't feel like a new person. This would feel like people that you know, or people that you could have been socializing with, because I'm seeing Six of Cups, so stuff about the past is connected with this. And it's about finding what really fits and not being like deluded into thinking that certain situations fit what you're looking for, and then you're always like, why do I feel like I'm not getting what I need from this, or that there's not like a deeper sense of fulfillment or connection, or like there's a lacking of the actual intimacy that I'm seeking, like those sorts of things. So I'm seeing that be a big focus here. Anything else? You can feel like this is something that took a long time. You can feel like this was a repeated cycle constantly, but now at this point you can feel like you have graduated from this. This is like a feeling of completion that you would be experiencing, and you would feel like you learned a whole lot about yourself. You can also feel like you changed and you shed and you evolved a lot through this process too. Like who you were sort of at the beginning of this versus who you are now, you can feel like there's a deeper sense of self-knowledge, and that you're understanding more about like what reflects your authenticity, those types of things. Like what and who you truly are in this lifetime, in this situation, in this 3D space reality. And I'm also seeing something coming together and feeling like because of knowing yourself better, that you can also understand too like better, which situations are aligned and which ones are not, which ones would you just be like giving and others would be taking, or vice versa, versus which ones actually have like this semblance of balance within them where it feels like it's an actual relationship, and where it feels like there's a mutual sense of people sort of getting what they need or what they're looking for, like that type of thing, rather than something being one-sided. So it feels like ending something that had been feeling one-sided, but it could have been a cycle that you were in for a while, is what this looks like. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.